I hate MacBooks. Truly. So I spent $1,000 on one. Some of you thought I couldn't get any dumber, but here we are. Honestly, I'm really big on not spending too much on, well, any piece of tech if I can help it. My main computer is running hardware ranging from 3 to 5 years old. I mean, it's a respectable system that I honestly only upgraded to edit videos with. Otherwise, I would be rocking even older hardware. My phone is a used Pixel 7 I got for $300 in good condition. I have to plug it in like 6 times for it to actually start charging every night. I mean, my main laptop is a ThinkPad T14 G1, and that was about $300, and I considered that to be a steep price to pay for a laptop. I mean, it's a laptop. You use it for Word docs. It doesn't need to be more than some sturdy plastic, a 1080p screen, and a few cores for when you want to play Jack 2 on the bus or whatever. Plus, when it's time to upgrade or do maintenance, it's somewhat easy on the T14. Even if it does have one soldered on RAM DIMM, you can do it and do it easily. All this to say, why did I get a MacBook? It is a beautiful, beautiful machined aluminum piece of, well, art. Has a 4K-ish HDR screen with Apple's M1 Pro chip, and I mean, just look at this thing. This is the antithesis of what I want in a laptop. This screams excess, form over function, and stomps all over the ideas of right to repair. This should be absolutely offensive to me in every way possible. What the hell am I doing? Okay. Before I get too far into the weeds, let's just talk about how I got here. Basically, I wanted a laptop I could take to work to use throughout the day when I'm not at my PC. Mostly meetings and maybe troubleshooting hardware with my PC. Then when on my lunch break, I wanted to be able to edit in Lightroom and edit videos without needing a whole ass editing PC, because apparently can't do that with your work PC. To do this, I need a big, bright, high resolution, color accurate screen with CPU horsepower and the biggest thing, great battery life. I got tired of the tiny dim screen, lack of CPU and GPU power, and the biggest downside, the battery on my T14. Now, if I wanted to do any video or photo editing, this tiny little guy just wasn't really going to cut it. It didn't have enough power to do what I needed it to do, and I cannot stand having to deal with not only the awful battery life, but the times when I pull my laptop out fully charged from the night before, and it's actually dead. Cool, great, awesome. I simply want something that just works. Not something that will struggle to do anything I need it to do and struggle to make it more than half a day without scrambling to find a wall outlet. So sadly, it's time to start looking in the direction of Apple. There is something I don't hate though, and that's the sponsor of this video, FlexiSpot. The cool thing about laptops is they fit in your lap. But the bad thing is that it makes your posture absolutely horrible. So I want to give it a huge thanks to FlexiSpot for sponsoring this video. I've been using both the dual motor E6 standing desk and upgraded OC6 chair for months now without a single issue in either. I am especially impressed by the E6 standing desk. It has a very nice design I've talked about many times. I use it in almost every video for filming, and it also comes with these nice wheels at the bottom to make it easier to move it around. So if I need to adjust it for filming with different lights or different lenses, and then I can just move it around and it works. Also, 15-year warranty. That is insane. Not that I need it, since it has been holding up very well to all the abuse I've given it. FlexiSpot has also launched a new ergonomic chair offering an extended 10-year warranty, leveraging the same high-quality mesh material as the OC6. FlexiSpot's chair can withstand weights of up to 500 pounds while providing excellent lumbar support. Not only is it extremely comfortable, but also features adjustable Y-shaped lumbar support. And mostly, for me, it serves as a great alternative to the pricier steel case gesture chair, costing less than a quarter of the gesture's price, with the weight capacity exceeding the gesture's 400 pounds. If you combine the great ergonomics of the OC6 chair with the ability to stand with the E6 standing desk, you are really able to set yourself up to have great posture and keep your back and neck in great shape. So thank you again, FlexiSpot, for making not only a great product, but a product that so far has been lasting me really, really well. And if you guys want to get yourself a desk or chair, use my affiliate links in the description. The first 30 FlexiSpot standing desk orders will get a free keyboard tray. Only valid on November 21st, 28th, and December 2nd, so get your orders in soon. The cool thing about Windows laptops is you throw the model you want into eBay, Facebook, Craigslist, the Air, and poof, there's the one I want. Just order it and you're good to go for the next few years. Until it starts getting slower and the battery doesn't really last as long as you want. And after a year and a half, you're already on the hunt for the next hit, trying to chase the cheap laptop dragon. Well, I'm done chasing the perfect cheap laptop. I want something I can keep for a few years and honestly be truly happy with. And from what I can tell, there is nothing else in the world quite like a MacBook. So off to eBay I went, searching for MacBook Pros, hoping to find either the right M1 Air or M1 Pro. And there are a lot of MacBooks here at varying prices. This was the beginning of my struggles, actually sifting through all of the models. There was a great schism in the Apple world when Apple Silicon came out. You had the Intel chips and M chips. One of these is widely compatible, tried, tested, awful, and actually kind of upgradable. And the other is Apple Silicon. The problem is there are many people who, out of either ignorance or just trying to make a quick buck, will absolutely refuse to label their MacBooks when labeling them. The biggest thing I see is people not actually listing the specific model of CPU or even the year of the damn machine itself. Sometimes I'll even see people list the year of the OS that's on it. What? So hunting for the exact spec you want feels impossible. I personally skipped anything that wasn't properly labeled, and after some counsel from my writer, skipped anything with an Intel chip due to the horrible thermals and poor performance. Plus, they make absolutely no sense to buy nowadays. Yeah, they've gotten really cheap, but they have very minimal upsides and far too many downsides. This narrowed me down to either an Air or a Pro. And honestly, I like the word Pro. Makes me feel important. So, Pro it was. This made things slightly better, but still difficult as I would still get garbo in my search results pretty often. But the results were better. The prices are just insane though. Oh my god, for a fair condition M1 Pro, you're looking at least $900? That's over 3 times what I've actually ever spent on a daily driver. 3 times! But I am asking a lot out of this guy. We decided it would be best to look elsewhere besides just eBay, and this absolute beauty was stumbled upon. A base model M1 MacBook Pro 16-inch with a 512GB SSD and 16GB of RAM. It has 10 CPU cores and 16 GPU cores. What's a GPU core, you ask? I don't know. I googled it and got bored. Anyways, it was in pretty good condition with very minimal wear for $875 shipped. Amazing. Expensive in a base model, but amazing. Fun fact, my writer paid $2,500 for the same exact MacBook Pro in 2022. Kindly get wrecked. Honestly, the price was a big reason why I've been holding off so long from getting a MacBook. The Intel options seem like a complete waste due to the aforementioned reasons. And then there's the M's. Can I call them M's? They're M's now. The M's were so expensive to the point of costing more than an actual running and driving car. It just didn't seem like it'd ever possibly be worth it. But now, the prices have somewhat dropped to reality, and I can finally cop one. I mean, this thing is seriously well built. I know it's a chunk of aluminum, but still, I just love the weight of this thing, and being able to open the screen with one finger is totally a gimmick. I thought until I got this and realized how useful it actually is. It's such a small thing, but it really does add to the premiumness. Also, there's a lot of magnets on this thing. Like, I dropped a bucket of like screws by it, and it all just like started magnetizing to it. I was like, oh hey, there are all my screws. That was easy. Real quick, let's let's cover the ports. We got a MagSafe port, 3 USB-C Thunderbolt ports with full-size HDMI and full-size SD card reader and a 3.5mm headphone jack. I am just in heaven. Besides all the USB-C, that sucks. I wanted at least one USB-A, but man, SD card reader and HDMI, Apple knows the way to man's heart. Plus, with the headphone jack, that means you have everything you need to just hook up and edit some videos, or I don't know, whatever the hell people will do with MacBooks. I live in my own world. Speaking of opening the lid though, the screen is amazing. Absolutely breathtaking. It's a 4K 120Hz Retina mini LED screen. It's gorgeous. I honestly have never seen a laptop with a better screen before, and at this point, I don't know if I could go back. Also, the setup process was so straightforward, I didn't even film it. I just put in some minor info and was dumped right onto the home screen. From here, I installed Chrome, Discord, and the Adobe suite and was just off to the races. The first thing I did notice though was how different the trackpad is from most Windows laptops. I'm used to mostly just tapping the trackpad to use it and very rarely pressing down until it clicks. Mostly I'd only do this for right clicks, not left. This led to the MacBook trackpad confusing me in 2 ways. The first was tapping didn't really work. You have to press down and get it to click. The second was that it doesn't actually click or move. It just has a little vibration motor and then it makes you think you're pressing down on it. If you look at the footage really closely, you actually see it doesn't move down at all. This is actually pretty trippy to use in person. And after using it for about 2 months now, I don't really have a preference between this and a standard clickable, tappable trackpad. The swipe gestures are absolutely flawless though, and I want to talk about macOS. Really fast, the keyboard is alright. It may be the most keyboard I've ever used. It works for me, and that's about all that matters. The keys feel consistent without much of any flex, and they don't get warm even when you're doing some hardcore Chrome browsing. Plus, palm rejection is absolutely peak. With the big trackpad, you would probably expect there to be a lot of annoying accidental touches when trying to type, but for as obtuse as Apple is, when they want something to work, it just simply do. The speakers are way better than they should be for a laptop. Seriously. They're not amazing by any stretch, but most laptops have absolutely garbage speakers. Looking at you, Lenovo. And these two, would you call these front, upward? I don't know. Speakers that somewhat vaguely face my direction. Speakers are really nice and don't make me feel like I have to put in earbuds every time I try to watch anything. Really solid. Okay, now we can talk about using the damn thing. The very first thing I notice is how different using programs is. It's almost like Apple wants you to just have 10 things open in various shapes and sizes across your desktop. I used to watch people do this, where they just had one thing open in the middle of their desktop with a little bit of space available on the top for some reason, and a little tiny bit more on the bottom and tons of blank space on the right and left of the window. I thought everybody that used Macs was just insane. I mean, they are, but There is a reason for it. You can't resize your windows properly. And then when you think you figured out the solution to the madness and want to make a program full size, it starts up a whole new desktop, which makes just about no sense to me at all. I mean, it's a good system, don't get me wrong, but I don't understand why I can't just use my desktop the way I want. If I want to avoid multiple desktops, that should just be my choice. Either way, it kind of ended up working for me in the end because most of what I do is in Chrome. So I have a nice little system where I have a personal Chrome browser, a YouTube one, and a work one, all on a different desktop that I can easily swipe between. It's actually pretty nice. Now you're probably asking yourself, won't this eat up your puny 16 gigs of RAM and kill your battery? Well, that's the neat part about M1 chips. That's the neat part. Even with an unholy amount of tabs open and a whole bunch of other stuff left open in the background, I still get almost 2 days of battery life out of this thing. Seriously, 2 days with a 4K 120 hertz screen. Obviously, I'm not using it all day long for intensive tasks, but for what I use it for, usually working from home, writing scripts, editing photos, taking notes in meetings, the usual stuff, the battery life is absolutely freaking amazing. It's honestly trippy and doesn't make sense to me at all. This battery doesn't even at 100% health. It's at 87% health. What the hell? And if I go to charge it, I can throw it on the charger for like 20 minutes and I'm good to go for pretty much the rest of the day. Every single time. I have literally been at 10% battery before a meeting, a very important one, charged it for like 20 minutes tops, and then it's good for the day. This makes no sense. What also makes no sense is just how much power this has for having such long battery life. The two main programs I use that require horsepower are Adobe Premiere and Lightroom. This absolutely crushes both of these. Crushes. Almost anything I throw at this in Premiere, the little M1 chip can handle, even red raw footage. And Lightroom as well. Lightroom, it works. Obviously, if I were to throw After Effects out in the mix, I would probably really start to slow it down, especially with the 16 gigs of RAM, not to mention all the tabs I normally have open while editing and music and whatever else. But I am just impressed with how it could handle Premiere and especially Lightroom. I can easily edit photos with this while on battery and have zero worries about it dying. What's also insane is that I haven't even logged into an Apple account yet. I'm really terrible at being a Mac user. I know, I just don't need anything else. Gaming. You can't really game on a Mac. That's life. But the games that do work, boy, do they work. Factorio is awesome on Macs, runs great, and surprisingly, there's a big emulation scene that supports M1 Macs. Dolphin runs absolutely beautiful, and so does Citra. The best part too, the laptop stays cool and quiet the entire time. No jet engines or worries about never having kids. Just smooth gaming. Although gaming makes it so you don't have to worry about ever having kids either. Either way, I digress. Let's now talk about the unrepairable elephant in the room. You are basically just stuck with this thing. Just stuck. If something breaks, for the most part, you have to suck it up and take it to Apple and pray it won't total out your machine. Same for if you need to upgrade your RAM or storage. My base model has far less RAM or storage than I would really like, but I can't do anything about that besides just buying another more expensive MacBook, which would be an idea, but Apple charges an insane amount of money for storage and RAM upgrades, which feels like a slap in the face when you're already paying such a significant amount of money for a laptop. If you want to go out and buy a brand new MacBook Pro 16-inch, man, these prices make me want to vomit. This might make you think, why not do the classic YouTuber thing and compare a Mac versus a PC for X price? And you're right, that's a great video idea I might do. But the thing is, as far as I can tell, the closest comparison to a MacBook is the Dell XPS lineup, which, don't get me wrong, those are great. But the problem is I'll still deal with Windows Standby randomly killing the battery in my laptop overnight, and I'll still deal with having us to use subpar CPUs that won't have nearly the same battery life as EMs. Yeah, a different keyboard or more ports would be great, but I don't really think that's worth the drawbacks. I mean, for this price point, what other option is there? I could honestly never justify buying a MacBook brand new, even used. This is a pill to swallow for me. The problem is, I don't regret spending the money. I really truly feel like I'm getting great value from this machine. The long battery life paired with a more than adequate CPU, a decent trackpad, keyboard, and amazing screen that lets me easily edit photos on the go. This is really just about everything I need out of a laptop. Even if it's 3 times what I normally pay for a used laptop. I really hate Apple. I really hate everything they do, and I don't love macOS, but I think I can't go back now.